everybody, it's Lisa and welcome to a new video. So I'm very excited for this video that I'm about to do. Also, kind of a warning that I feel like this is going to be the first of many reading vlogs happening in the month of March. I think that's when this is going up. So if you don't like reading vlogs, I'm sorry, but there's gonna be quite a few, I think, on my channel. But this one is really exciting because I'm going to be reading a book that I've never read before. It came out 12 years ago when I was looking it up. It came out in 2008, so I'm very late to the party. So as you probably read in the title, I will be reading The Hunger Games for the first time. I'm very excited. So because of the prequel coming out, I believe in May, a lot of people have been starting to talk about The Hunger Games again. I know it's a very loved series and people have been talking about it constantly forever, but I just feel like with the prequel coming out, so many people have been talking about this a lot more recently. And because of that, I was like, I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to finally read The Hunger Games, because I never did. And because I've never read it, my friend Franny actually sent me this copy of The Hunger Games. I think this is her original copy, but she absolutely loves the series and has been telling me to read it for a very long time. And I'm finally doing it. So Franny, this one's for you. So yeah, I'm going to be reading The Hunger Games, the whole trilogy, for the first time ever over the next few months. And I also will be reading the prequel, I think, as well, and we'll probably do a reading vlog on that. So I'm very excited. I do want to give a bit of a disclaimer though. I have seen the first two movies, but let me explain. I have seen The Hunger Games, the first movie, a couple of times, so I kind of know the plot a little bit of the first one, but I'm sure that there's a lot more explanation in this book of the characters and the world and the districts and just the Hunger Games itself that is definitely not in the movie. So I'm still really excited to actually get more information in the book. And I have seen the second movie, Catching Fire, as well. But I could not tell you one thing that happens in that movie. I remember literally nothing. Head empty. I saw Catching Fire in the movie theater when it first came out, and that was the only time I'd ever seen it. I remember absolutely nothing. And I've never seen Mockingjay Part 1 or Part 2. I've never seen those movies. I do not know what happens. I mean, there are a couple of spoilers that I think I have heard just throughout the years because, again, this came out in 2008. It's hard to avoid spoilers for something that came out 12 years ago. But for the most part, I really don't know that much about what actually happens in the second and third book. I really don't know where the plot goes after this. So I'm very excited, and I still feel like there's a lot in here that I don't know, so it's going to be very exciting. I'm going to be reading this, and we'll probably watch the movie as well. I do want to give credit to lisamariereads, who I will have linked down below. She did a series on her channel where she read Harry Potter for the first time. Her videos are just so funny, and hearing her theories for what's about to happen throughout the rest of the series when she has no clue, it's just incredible. So I don't think mine are going to be as good as hers, but I got the idea to do this because of her videos. So I wanted to credit her. But yeah, that is all I have to say for right now. I will catch up with you once I'm about to start, once I have some first initial thoughts. But yeah, Hunger Games. Finally, 12 years later, here I am. Okay, so it has been a couple of days since I started this vlog, but I did want to give an update. I have officially started reading The Hunger Games, and I do want to say it's probably going to be spoilers in this vlog, as I feel like I'm the last person ever to have read The Hunger Games. I'm just going to talk about spoilers because why not? So there is your warning. But I have officially started, and I am enjoying it so far. But I am up to chapter 4, I think. Yeah, chapter 4, page 48. So I'm not super far into it, but I am enjoying it. I definitely feel like it's very fast-paced. I figured it was going to be because it's not a super long book. It's 374 pages. So it's not that long, and I know that a lot happens in this book, so I figured it would be getting right into it. But the very end of the first chapter is when they're announcing who's picked for the Hunger Games and Prim is chosen. So it literally just gets right into it. I definitely am very interested about the whole government and the Hunger Games and why that came to be. They do explain it a bit at the beginning, but I feel like With this series, I do know some of the things that happen with characters. Like, there are certain things with characters that I think I have been spoiled for throughout the series, which is not surprising when I think this first book came out in 2008. So I'm a little behind. I feel like it's kind of hard to avoid spoilers for a very popular book series that was also made into movies. I'm not surprised I was spoiled, but I feel like everything to do with like the government and the Hunger Games and like the rebellion and everything like that, I feel like I don't know too much about like the actual plot of these books, and also just the whole government and everything I think is really interesting. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. But like I said, I have seen the first movie a couple of times, so I do kind of know this story a little bit, but I'm still really enjoying it. I'm still very intrigued to see where it goes. But yeah, that's kind of my first initial update on the Hunger Games. I'm very excited, nervous, lots of emotions. I'm very excited to get to like the actual Hunger Games part. I feel like that will be really interesting to read about. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, I don't have that many thoughts and opinions yet because I'm only 50 pages in, but I am enjoying it so far, and I'm going to go and continue reading this. Okay, so it has been a couple of days since I have checked in with the Hunger Games, but I am now almost halfway through, I think. I'm up to chapter 12, which is page 161, so I think I'm like almost halfway through, and I'm enjoying it so far. I definitely kind of went in with no expectations because I figured it must have been popular for a reason. There's a reason it became such a successful book series and then like movie franchise and everything. But I also was like, I'm not gonna go in with super high expectations only because it came out forever ago, and you know, the nostalgic value wasn't there for me because this is my first time reading it, so I didn't know if I would be enjoying it as much as people who grew up reading it would be, but I am still really enjoying it. We are now officially into the Hunger Games. It was like the first night that it started, so that's exciting in a terrifying way. I find that I'm reading it really fast, so I am going to try my best to finish it today. Like I said, I have about half left, but I'm reading it really fast when I actually like sit down to read it. I also downloaded the audiobook on Hoopla, which has been very helpful. It's narrated by Tatiana Maslany. Is that how you say her name? I don't know, but she was the actress on Orphan Black, and I love that show. So that's been really cool to listen to. Listening to the audiobook has actually helped me like read it a bit faster too. I've been like listening while reading along. So yeah, I am going to try my best to finish this today. I think with the audiobook, I will be able to do it. But yeah, I will check in hopefully soon by the end of this weekend or either Monday and kind of give my final thoughts, because I definitely think I will be done with this by Monday. So as you may have imagined, I finished The Hunger Games. I also watched the movie on Saturday night, same night I finished it, and I kind of wanted to kind of wrap up my thoughts a little bit. I feel like I didn't really talk too much about the book when I was reading it. I mean, I did give some thoughts, but I've already edited what I have of this video so far, and it's like 8 minutes or something, so clearly I did not talk as much as I thought I did, for once. But yeah, I finished The Hunger Games, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 5 stars. Honestly, there's not really anything I disliked about it, so that's kind of why I gave it 5 stars. I genuinely enjoyed reading this a lot. I thought it was very interesting, and I can understand why it is so popular, especially a few years ago when it was super popular. I totally understand why. It obviously was very interesting, but also it was so scary to read about. I cannot imagine being in the Hunger Games. I cannot imagine being in Katniss's place. I don't know how she did it, and she's only 16 years old. Like, that is something that I feel like the older I get, the more I'm like, oh my god, these are literal children that are being put in these situations in books. I'm 21 years old. It's not like I'm that much older than a lot of young adult characters, but at the same time, I'm like, they're literal children. I couldn't do this. But the fact that she is 16 and is able to survive in this situation is just mind-blowing. Not only is she able to, hunt and defend herself, but she also is able to strategize as well. She's able to think about the fact that they're being filmed for entertainment, and that if she acts a certain way or does a certain thing, that sponsors and people who are watching will be able to send in money to get them things to help them. And I'm like, if I were in this situation, I would not be thinking about the people watching. I would be thinking about one thing, and that would be surviving, not dying. But the fact that she's able to even strategize like that is so crazy to me. I know a big thing with this trilogy is like the love triangle, but so far I don't have any opinions on it. I'm sure more of that will come later on a bit in the books, because I feel like we didn't really see much of anything to really get an opinion. I mean, she's with Gale at the beginning, and she kind of thinks of him occasionally throughout the games. And then also with Peeta, she's like pretending to be kind of in a relationship with him, to help get sponsors to send things in. Like, it's all part of her motivation and her strategy, but also like throughout the whole thing, she's kind of like questioning how she feels about Peeta and how she feels about Gale. So I don't know. I don't really have an opinion yet, but we'll see as we go on how I start to feel. I also ended up watching the movie as well, and I, for the most part, think that it's a very good adaptation. I don't know how people feel about it. I feel like a lot of people really like the Hunger Games movies. I feel like they got a lot of the bigger details and the more important details in there, as well as some other smaller ones as well. A couple of things though, I know that they didn't do Peeta's leg injury was a lot less severe in the movie. I don't know, there probably were reasons why they changed that a little bit. I don't know if it was like a budgeting thing or a timing thing, or if they just weren't able to do it. I don't know. I don't know why that was the case, but I know that that was different. But that didn't really bother me. The only thing that I was a little like confused and wish they had explained a little bit more was Katniss and Peeta kind of all of a sudden just starting to make out in the middle of the Hunger Games. You're in her perspective in the book, so you see her think about how she could strategize to have this relationship with him to help their, you know, story and to help get sponsors to send them stuff. So it makes sense when you're in her head, but in the movie it just kind of seems really random. I mean, they do talk about the potential love story situation, and also Haymitch talks about it as well with a character that I don't know the name of. I don't know if he's in the book or if I'm just dumb, but I think he's in a American Horror Story. That's what I know him from. Anyway, but you see Haymitch talking to whoever this character is and kind of talking about that angle, and then at the end, when they're like leaving the Hunger Games, when they've made it out, you hear Peeta and Katniss talking, and Peeta goes, "What do we do now?" Katniss says, "We try to move on and forget it happened." And he's like, "But I don't want to forget." And then at the end, she's like looking at Gale, but Peeta's looking at her, and it's a whole thing. But I just feel like that's hinting at the love triangle. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they could have made it a little bit more clear that they were doing that to get help. Now, as someone who has read the book, I understood what was going on, but I feel like when I watched the movie, the couple of times I did before reading the book, I was just like, oh, there they are. There's the couple. It's happening. But yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. I really enjoyed the book. Like I said, I gave it 5 stars, so I really enjoyed it. I'm very excited to kind of continue on with the series as well. I'm excited to see where it goes. Hopefully when I'm reading the other books, I will be able to give more of my thoughts throughout the book. I feel like because I had seen the movie and kind of knew the story of this one a little bit more, there wasn't that much to kind of update on because nothing really surprised me throughout this book. But I feel like with Catching Fire and Mockingjay, there's a lot less that I know. Like, I really don't know that much about those ones, so I feel like there's going to be more for me to talk about. But yeah, I finally read The Hunger Games. Very late. As always, I feel like I'm always very late to very popular things, but here I am. And I'm very excited to continue on. So I'm going to be continuing doing vlogs for these. So if you want to stick around and see them when they're posted, I would definitely subscribe. Maybe if y'all want. Also, I love that I just put my Jen photo card there and then didn't acknowledge it. Ever since I got that, I've just been like putting it in different places around my room. Like I was using it as a bookmark, and then I had it like next to my bed on my bedside table, and then I just put it back there while I was filming. I don't know why I'm doing this. I just love Jin. I don't know. Anyway, we're not here to talk about BTS. We're here to talk about the Hunger Games and also end this video. This is a mess. So I'm gonna end this video before I just start going off on tangents on literally whatever I want to talk about. So please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more Hunger Games vlogs, for me reading them for the first time and just other types of videos as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.